So we got to talk about the CIA. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek-Stew, and today, guys, welcome back to another episode of Conspiracy Theories with Ike. That's right. Holy shit. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, I'm drinking Wee Mac. It's a Indiana beer. I think it's an Indiana beer. Yeah, it is. Sun King Brewery, Indianapolis, Indiana, baby. So you're probably thinking to yourself, what theory are we going to cover today that's driven Isaac to start drinking? It's a good question. Talking about the CIA. Before we get into that, I want to go over a couple things here. First and foremost, we are back to the Iceberg. This theory today is a theory from the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. So thanks again to Cicada 1205 for the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. Couldn't do without you. And as always, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share, social media, all that good shit. So this is one of those theories that's going to be really fucking weird. And I'm saying weird as in on par with the whole Tesla being from Venus thing. So, like, let's just get into it. All right, so let's talk about some documents. So, as a lot of people may know, and we talked about some various released CIA documents, not even just, in general, but just we talked about this a couple of times, like with the whole Tesla being from Venus. And, the CIA and the FBI have been declassifying documents recently, like in the last 5 or so years. I don't know exactly what the point of that is, but it's been happening. So, nonetheless, back in 1984, specifically May 22nd, 1984, there was a document written with by the CIA titled Mars Exploration. Now, this document was a transcript talking about some stuff. Now, for those who may not know, we have been near Mars, we have flown by Mars, and we have used telescopes on Mars. However, we did not actually put a rover down on Mars until 1997, when the Mars Pathfinder Sojourner rover got there. I don't know if I said that right. So, 1997, okay? So you might be asking yourself, Ike, how did we explore Mars in 1984? Was it new and cutting-edge technology? No. Was it some secret technology that the CIA just didn't want us to know about, or some groundbreaking thing that we just didn't know, like teleportation? Wrong again. What about some alien technology from Area 51? Nice try. What if I told you that we astral projected to Mars? You're probably like, okay, slow down, Ike. What the fuck is astral projecting? Let me fill you in, okay? This is just a quick little description. In case you didn't already know, astral projection is an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a subtle body or a spiritual or soul-like body called an astral body, through which our consciousness can function separately from our body and travel through what is called the astral plane. The astral plane, depending on your understanding or belief in it, could be simply a plane between our existence and the afterlife, or it can go as far to say that we can traverse the astral plane and go throughout time and space. You heard that correctly. Astral projection equals time travel. Now, as you can already kind of tell, I'm starting to spiral. I'm on a downward spin here. So let's go back to the documents. Let's talk about these documents. Now, just because I haven't said it yet, and as you can probably tell from the title of the video, then how this theory appears on the iceberg is CIA Mars Astral Projection Experiments 1984. Didn't exactly know what to think about this, but yeah, okay. So basically this document is only 7 pages long. It's a transcript of 2 people. It's a CIA agent who goes by the letters MON, and then a subject which goes by SUB, which is just, I would assume is like an abbreviation of the word subject. And in this transcript are details of this experiment, all right? So basically they gave the subject coordinates from the planet Mars, and then the subject would then go there via astral projection and describe what it looked like, okay? Now we're going to talk about this. We're not going to cover every single page, because if I covered 7 pages of CIA documents, I'd probably lose my fucking mind, but I am going to do this. There are some excerpts that I want to read and then kind of talk about. So basically, I'll read an excerpt to you, I'll show it to you on the screen, and then I'll give you a couple things that I was thinking about with it, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Now, I want you to follow along the best you can, but feel free to pause and read if you need to, because I'm a slow reader too. Doesn't seem like it, but I am. So kick back, relax, and let's jump right in to the CIA document. So for the first document, or the first excerpt, I should say, it's from the beginning. Says, MON says, plus 10 minutes ready to start, basically just indicating that they took 10 minutes to prepare. All right, now, using the information in the envelope I provided, exclusively focusing your attention now, using the information in the envelope, focus on 40.89 degrees north, 9.55 degrees west. The subject responds saying, I want to say it looks like, I don't know, it sort of looks like I kind of got an oblique view of a pyramid or pyramid form. It's very high and it's kind of sitting in a large depressed area. So basically this is kind of just like the beginning of the conversation, right? We're still kind of getting into like the details, but we've already started off with there being pyramids on Mars. So that's great. Moving on, the MON CIA agent says, just report your raw perceptions at this time. You're still early in the session. Subject says, I'm looking at an after effect of a major geological problem. MON says, okay, go back to the time before the geological problem. Subject says, total difference. It's before. There's no, I don't know, oh hell. It's like mountains of dirt appear and then disappear when you go before. See large flat surfaces, very smooth angles, walls. They're really large though. I mean, they're megalithic. So this kind of infers that some kind of major geological disaster like an earthquake, tsunami, volcano, landslide occurred, drastically changed the landscape. This also concludes that we could use space-time travel or time travel via astral projection. Basically because they said like, hey, go before the geological disaster. And yeah. So basically after this, the CIA agent's like, okay, try and see if you can find some activity near there. It's where shit starts getting, I mean, it's already weird as it is, but shit starts getting weirder. Subject says, I'm seeing, it's like a perception of a shadow of people. Very tall, thin. It's only a shadow. It's as if they were there and they're not there anymore. MON says, go back to a period of time where they are there. Subject says, mumble. It's like I get a lot of static on the line and everything. It's breaking up all the time. Very fragmentary pieces. MON says, just report the raw data. Don't try to put things together. Just report the raw data. Subject says, I just keep seeing very large people. They appear thin and tall, but they're very large, wearing some kind of strange clothes. So there are people on Mars at some point, which is fantastic. Love that. They also ask them to then kind of transition to another set of coordinates, and this is kind of what happens next. Subject says, I'm deep inside of a cavern, not a cavern, more like a canyon. I'm looking up the sides of a steep wall that seem to go on forever. And there's like a structure with a, looks like the wall of a canyon itself has been carved. Again, I'm getting a very large structures, no intricacy. It's just huge sections of smooth stone. MON says, do the structures have insides and outsides? Subject says, yes, they're very. It's like a rabbit warren. Corners of our rooms. They're really huge. I don't feel like I'm standing in one. It's just really huge. Perception is that the ceiling is very high, walls really wide. And it says real time is 22 minutes, so I guess it took that time. And I want to highlight this. The CIA agent responds by saying, yes, that would be correct. And then says, all right, I'd like to move on to another location nearby. All right, move to this point in time too, and then from there. So I'm just going to pause for a second. Who we assume is the CIA agent responds to this by saying, yes, that would be correct, which implies that the CIA already knows what would be at the provided coordinates. It implies that we were on Mars before 1997 in some way, that they have some form of confirming what this person is seeing via astral projection. And I'm not trying to be rude. If it's inside of a deep cavern with smooth, and not to mention, they're jumping back and forth between time here, okay? Like, it's not like real time, you know what I mean? It's not like we're looking at Mars via a telescope and saying, yes, we can see this here. They're like jumping back and forth in time. So I don't know. But okay, we literally weren't on Mars until 97, but this happens in 1984. And anyways, before I spiral again, basically they go through all this and then they talk to the subjects more, and some of it's interesting. But again, I'm not going to cover every single page. But eventually they go back to pyramids, and then they find some other structures, and this is what they have to say about the other structures. Now, this section is this is a short excerpt, and then the next is just going to be a lot of reading, so bear with me here. I promise you it's going to be worth it. So they find some other structures, and the subject says it's filtered from storms or something. The MON says, say that again, SUB. Subject says, they're like shelters from storms. MON says, these structures you're seeing, ? Subject says, yes, they're designed for that. MON says, all right, go inside one of these and find some activity to tell me about. 37 minutes real time. Took them some time to find this. Subject says, different chambers, but they're almost stripped of any kind of furnishings or anything. It's like a strictly functional place for sleeping, or that's not a good word, hibernations, some form. I get real raw input, storm, savage storm, and sleeping through storms. Now this is kind of interesting because this is implying that there's some form of like long-term hibernation or like cryosleep, but it does get weirder somehow. The CIA agent asks them to talk to one of the people in this shelter. So MON, the CIA agent, says, tell me about the ones who sleep through the storms. Now that sounds like a horror novel as it is, but the subject says, very tall again, very large people, but they're thin. They look thin because of their height, and they dress like in, oh hell, it's like real light silk, but it's not the flowing type of clothing. It's like cut to fit. MON says, move close to one of them and ask them to tell you about themselves. Subject says they're ancient people. They're dying. It's past their time or age. MON says, tell me about this. Subject says they're very philosophic about it. They're looking for a way to survive and they just can't. MON says, plus 40 minutes, definite voltage reversal. Not really sure what that means. Maybe some sort of like brain input. They might be hooked up to some kind of sensor or monitor. But the subject says, I can't seem to get their way out. They can't seem to find their way out. So they're hanging on while they look or wait for something to return or something coming with an answer. MON says, what is it they're waiting for? Subject says, there evidently was a group or a party of them that went to find a new place to live. It's like I'm getting all kinds of overwhelming input of the corruption of their environment. It's failing very rapidly, and this group went somewhere, like a long way to find a place to live. MON says, what was the cause of the atmospheric disturbance or the environment disturbance? Subject says, I see a picture of like a, oh hell, it's like almost in a warp. Oh god, this is difficult. It's like going, let's see, MON says, the raw data, question mark. Subject says, oh, I get a globe. It's like the globe that goes through a comet's tail, or it's through a river or something, but it's all very cosmic. It's like space pictures. MON says, all right, now before you leave this individual, ask him if there's any way ask him if he knows who you are and if there are any way to help him in his present predicament. Subject says, all I get is that they must just wait. Doesn't know who I am, but he perceives me as a hallucination or something. MON says, okay, when the others left, these people are waiting. When the others left, how did they go? The subject says, get an impression of, don't know what the hell it is. It looks like the inside of a larger boat. Very rounded walls and shiny metal. MON says, go along with them on their journey and find out where it is they go. Subject says, impression of a really crazy place with volcanoes and gas pockets and strange plants. Very volatile place. It's very much like going from the frying pan and into the fire. The difference is there seems to be a lot of vegetation where the other place did not have it, and different kind of storm. MON then says, alright, it's time to come back now to the sound of my voice and to present time to right now the 22nd of May 1984, the sound of my voice. Move now back to the room, back to the sound of my voice, back further now to the sound of my voice on the 22nd of May 1984. I know that took 10 minutes of your time, and I understand that may be a little bit boring since I was just reading to you this transcript, but I think it's important because it's a lot to take in. Basically, if we are to believe this is accurate, which I have to at least consider because the CIA agent confirmed that the subject was correct at one point in the conversation, okay? We then have to believe that there is an ancient race of tall and thin people who lived on Mars, but went into hibernation of some sort to await the results of a mission to another planet to see if they could find a more habitable planet after some form of ecological disaster ravaged Mars. There are so many implications with this document, okay? I mean, space travel being one of them, okay? I mean, that's crazy. We've not gotten to that point yet, and we're a fairly advanced species of individuals, so this means that there is an even more advanced species of people who used to live on Mars who then traveled further into space. Life on Mars is another big one, or I should say previous life on Mars. Potential fossils or leftover civilization on Mars, like, you know, unless of course it's all been destroyed with time. This would also be confirmation of things on Mars, means that we were on Mars before, right? So basically with everything else, if we weren't on Mars before, then how did we know this information, right? So if we weren't there, right? If we didn't have some way for us to confirm these very specific things, then that means we must have some form of recording of life on Mars, okay? Whether that be a physical recording or some sort of data recording, we have something that proves something on Mars, okay? Least of all of this is that astral projection exists. Like, that's cool, but holy hell, that is the least of my concerns right now, because literal aliens on Mars.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Okay, a step back, because started spinning there a little bit. So before I do spiral, let's take a deep breath and say that we are assuming a lot, okay? First and foremost, we are assuming that these documents are real, that this is a real experiment that did happen with the CIA and some other individual. We're also assuming that the person who was astral projecting can astral project and that it is in fact a real thing. We're also assuming that what they are seeing is actually on Mars and not just some form of fabrication, and that, again, Mars, that's all real. Well, obviously Mars is real, but what they're seeing is real. We also have to assume that the links in which astral projection goes, because a lot of people just believe that it's just something that can happen just here, right? It's sort of a spiritual experience. Well, this is to say that astral projection can literally traverse time and space. Now, we also have to assume that the CIA and US government did have prior knowledge of Mars and subsequently life on Mars, because how they confirmed what the person was seeing during this practice, this experiment, means that we have to at least consider that they did know prior to the experiment in order for them to have been able to confirm it. There's so much we could talk about here, but good Lord, my brain is about to fry. Now, if you want to check out the full document for yourself, check it out, the link in the description below. It's a free document, open to anybody, but this is a confirmed real document from the CIA before anybody starts going off on tangents. Obviously, whether or not the contents are real or not, who's to say? Wow. So I was kind of avoiding this theory. Like, I was kind of skeptical about like what I was gonna have to research. Right? I was like, what the fuck is this supposed to even mean? But my oh my, that was a really interesting one. Like, how can I not talk about a theory where we astral project to Mars and we traverse time and space and everything else, and we get to talk to an ancient civilization of space Slendermen? Like, holy shit. Yeah, wow. That was, honestly, that was a good one. That was a cool one. It took me a little while to write that script, I'm not gonna lie, because I had to really go in and find what I wanted to read about in the excerpts, because I did read the whole document. I could give you that document probably word for word at this point. But yeah, I did read the document a few times. I recommend you do it yourself. I did leave out some small stuff, nothing really crazy, but just some conversation about some other details of Mars. So, I mean, if you're interested in that, check it out. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to other stuff. I'm not going to mention it. Sorry about the background. Stuff's happening. Also, I got this shirt not too long ago, which big thanks to Dave Dynasty. Dave Dynasty, he has a whole thing with Manscaped. I don't have a sponsorship with Manscaped, but if Manscaped wants to sponsor me, hit me up. But Dave Dynasty does have a sponsorship with Manscaped, and I wanted to wear one of the shirts that I got from that. I actually got a little kit from Dave, because I am on the Dave Dynasty Show as well. So if you ever want to check out wrestling-related content, check out the Dave Dynasty Show. But he has a whole thing with Manscaped, and I got a shirt and like a razor. And actually, obviously, I know my hair is kind of crazy and everything else, but the razor does work pretty well. It's good to kind of even up and trim up. It does have different like sizings and stuff, but they gave me some other cool shit too, like a travel bag and underwear. And honestly, it's cool shit. It's expensive as fuck though, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really expensive, but I'm pretty sure Dave has like a code or something. So if you do purchase Manscaped stuff and you want to buy some more, maybe go check out his code. But anyways, yeah, so if you were wondering where I got that shirt, that's my story of where I got the shirt. When you guys be watching this, actually, this will be on April the 29th. So this episode is going to go up on April the 29th. I'm filming this on the 12th of April. I filmed a few videos in succession for the 15th, 22nd, and 29th. So this is my last video for that. The next video you'll see on the 6th is going to be probably a sort of vlog type video to kind of show my move down to Florida, because I hate to mention it again, but when you're watching this video, I'll actually be in Florida on vacation. I'm actually taking a week off once I get moved. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Lots of fun. I'm really excited for it. But yeah, really don't have anything else for you guys. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. Share us on Facebook. I don't know, whatever social medias you like. Share us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know. Anyways, share us. Tell your friends. Word of mouth. And yeah, stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Stay awesome. And we will see you in the next one. See ya.
Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?